Hello class, we meet again in the second session of spatial arrangement. This is lecture 2, and we will discuss about the principles of spatial planning. As you know, in the previous lecture or previous session, we already learned that spatial planning is all the effort to achieve the objective, yeah, to get the most beneficial result related to the spatial planning and spatial development. So today we will learn about the principles of planning. This is a principles actually a principles for planning as a general terms, yeah. But also we can implement it into more specific term in spatial planning, ya. So I will explain in bahasa. Jadi intinya kita akan membahas tentang beberapa prinsip dari perencanaan, yang mana ini merupakan prinsip umum sebetulnya, tapi bisa juga diterapkan atau semuanya bisa masuk ke sebagai prinsip dari perencanaan spasial atau tata ruang, ya. Oke, let's continue or let's start our session. Okay, so today we will discuss about 5 principles. The first is unity of plan. Second is continuity of plan. Third is timing of the plan. Fourth is supplements of plan. And fifth is the precision in planning. So let's start our lecture. Okay, the first principles is unity in spatial planning. Yeah. What we mean in the unity in spatial planning is that all of the infrastructure, all of the content, all of the aspect of spatial planning in the space, in one space, is, like I mentioned in the previous lesson, is related and has relationship with other objects or other aspect. So in this concept, unity means all of the concept is, yeah, one, like, yeah, one united concept, yeah. One unity of every aspect, yeah, that come together to reach what is the objective. For example, in the infrastructure, the goal is to develop or to uh, maintain and also to reach a good development of any spatial infrastructure. So in this context, infrastructure can be divided into more locally or more small areas infrastructure, for example, like schools, libraries, local roads, and facilities, into one more complex, yeah, more complex, more widened area, and more uh, enrich, yeah, reach many others people, like for example electricity, fuel, water supply, stormwater, wastewater, telecommunication, ports or airports, and transportation. So this type of infrastructure can reach more people, can reach more spatial or spatial uh, designation. Yeah. In the contrary, this part is like I mentioned, yeah, like I mentioned, it is more small scale areas. Yeah. In this part, it is more widened. So, for example, schools, defense, police, yeah. Waste is kind of the like a solid waste, yeah. This is more. This is wider. This can reach a lot of wide area. So not only local but also probably one community. The next part is also more is wider than before, than the previous. For example, public open space, cultural facilities, regional cultural facilities, institution and event facilities, and also hospitals. Yeah. This pyramid or this triangle shown that all of these components need to be planned accordingly. So each individual of these components will has relationship with the other. For example, electricity electricity line will be related to the settlements. Fuel will always related to the cars or transportations. Water supply, wastewater, and so on. The communications will related to the settlements also. In more small scale, public open space is also related to the community who lives in one space. Yeah. So that's probably in bahasa Indonesia ya. Let me give a shortened explanation. Pada intinya, pada intinya semua komponen ini berkaitan satu sama lain sehingga apa yang kita rencanakan di salah satu komponen ini tentunya akan berkaitan atau bisa jadi harus diintegrasikan dengan komponen yang lain dalam suatu space ya. Jadi walaupun dia scale-nya berbeda, different scales, tapi perencanaannya harus dalam tanda kutip ya menjadi satu kesatuan perencanaan sehingga tidak berjalan sendiri-sendiri ya. Bongkar sana, nanti bikin apa lagi, bongkar lagi, bikin apa lagi, bongkar lagi, misalnya jalan, bikin drainase bongkar, tutup lagi. Lalu nanti ada pihak lagi yang masuk, saya harus membangun fiber optik misalnya, bongkar lagi, dan terulang seperti itu terus sehingga malah akan mendatangkan kerugian yang lebih besar. Kalau kita bisa merencanakan menjadi satu kesatuan, tentu akan lebih memberikan manfaat dan juga tentunya secara ekonomi, secara biaya dan sebagainya juga akan lebih ringan. That is the concept of unity in spatial planning. Yeah. Nah, this is illustration show that in one cities or one region, there is always these components. Actually, this is for a city scale, but you can derive or can break down it into other region or other administrative boundaries, not only a city but also a province probably or a country actually, because there is always these three main component. The first is people, of course, people. The second is infrastructure, and the third is this is a kind of combination, to combine all of these components, which is planning and management. So in the city planning, these three need to be integrated, with each other, so that the people can live accordingly and can develop accordingly. The infrastructure can function as the previously planned, and all of these components can be managed so that will bring benefit or beneficial to all the people and of course to the environment in the city. So what is the component? For example, the main component in the city, usually we found that we found this part, yeah, government and agency administration. This I think in every city we has this component, yeah, the governmental, the uh, agency, yeah, the local agency or province agency, or in the city, or yeah, uh, city or agency, yeah, there are always has its own agency and government. This is the main things that has to be established in one city. The second is public safety, for example, like police, firefighter, and so on. And also, I think the healthcare. Yeah. The third is social program and culture. Yeah. Social programs, culture, uh, social law, and many more. The smarter care, usually for the education, for the uh, maybe you already heard in bahasa Indonesia ya PKKPN, like for the keluarga berencana. That's also one of the city planning actually, so that the population can be controlled. The education, this is also the important aspect. Yeah. Transportation for the city, it is a must. It is a fundamental, and usually the transportation will uh, show that show if one city is developed enough or not. Yeah. A major city, a metropolitan, sometimes we can classify some city into metropolitan when those city has many link of transportation and many major or many mode of transportation. Yeah. In a more scale, in a smaller city, sometimes the type of transportation also limited. Yeah. Yeah. For example, if we go to the Jakarta or Surabaya or many big city, yeah, Semarang, also Yogyakarta, I think the transportation, the traffic, uh, for for example, yeah, the traffic, we can see that the traffic will be a lot crowded, yeah, in the larger city compared with smaller city. So transportation also one of the component that needs a good and proper planning, so that it not be develop a traffic jam. Yeah. If we cannot plan it, probably it will lead to the traffic jam. The next is water. You can see water is um, one of the main component for human to be live. Yeah. So it is very urgent and need to be presented in one city. Energy, for today we need a lot of energy for electricity, especially is if we working from home or college from home, school from home. We need a lot more energy in our houses or our home, yeah, to be able to follow all the classes. Yeah, so we will use a lot more energy when we in the condition like nowadays. Yeah, we will need a lot of energy. So energy is in the city is one of the main or important things also, because all of the activities, people activities depends on the energy. Without energy, people usually stop, like cannot doing the usual things. Yeah. For example, if we don't have electricity, we cannot do anything. We cannot use our phone. We cannot use our laptop. We cannot even sometimes we cannot do the house activities in the house, like uh, wash laundry, uh, watching television, and store food in refrigerator and something like that. So these important things. Buildings, yeah, in the city we need buildings to store all the activities, and sometimes in the large city the buildings will have, each of the building will have multiple purpose. So one building can be rent or can be used as several office, yeah. In for example in Jakarta, one tower or one building can be divided into many offices, yeah. The last is the city planning and operation. So usually in a city there is a planning board, yeah, city planning board. Every city has this planning board. So I think this is also important aspect or components. Still in the Unity concept, yeah. Spatial planning categories usually consists of, yeah, more or less six categories, but I think it's more, yeah. But this is important categories, and usually we can found it in the city. The first is the core conservation area. Area konservasi ini selalu ada, ya, always present. We can see in the near a river or near mountains, yeah, and the natural habitat for flora and animals. Yeah. The next is natural buffer areas. We can see this in near the river, ya, sempatan sungai, sempatan pantai. In English, it's natural buffer areas. C is agriculture areas. Maybe in the metropolitan or in the larger city we cannot find this, but in a smaller city or in the urban suburban area, rural area, we can find many agriculture or in bahasa lahan-lahan pertanian, ya. D is the urban related areas. This is the area mainly for the urban activities or urban living, ya. Perkotaan utamanya, pusat kota. Nah, E is the industrial area. Sometimes we found the industrial area to support all the products, yeah, to produce a lot of product that the people needs. Industrial areas, for example, in Surabaya, ya, in Surabaya they have one specific area for industry. Yeah, I think it's a lot of industry in Surabaya. F is surface infrastructure like the electricity, phone, wastewater, drainage, and others, ya, yang berada di permukaan, ya, seperti untuk electricity, listrik, air, dan sebagainya. The next concept is continuity in spatial planning. So spatial planning have to be continued, not just for right now or in the near future, but also in the more longer timeline. Yeah. So in bahasa, I will explain it. Jadi continuity artinya perencanaan itu atau perencanaan tata ruang itu ya sebaiknya memiliki jenjang waktu yang jelas dan jangka panjang atau berjangka. Sorry, have any difficulties? Okay, sorry for the a bit of cut down. So I will continue. Jadi dalam bahasa Indonesia, ya, jadi perencanaan itu perlu bertahap atau berjenjang, berkala. Tidak hanya satu waktu, tapi juga memiliki tahapan yang jelas, sehingga kita bisa merencanakan dengan memiliki tujuan yang bisa dicek, ya, pencapaiannya. Setiap berapa tahun kita cek apakah sudah sesuai tujuan semula atau belum. Yeah. So we have to plan it in the several timeline, ya. In the short future, yeah, medium or the middle future, and also the more longer future. Contohnya dalam hal ini ya, di secara nasional ya, itu ada yang namanya rencana pembangunan jangka panjang ya, nasional gitu ya. Misalnya 2005 sampai 2025 ini masih ada, kita masih masuk dalam timeline ini ya. And as you can see, each of this timeline need to be specify into one goals or several goals ya. Jadi kita harus punya tujuan yang jelas untuk setiap tahapan pembangunan. This is the continuity in spatial planning. Bertahap, berjangka, dengan tujuan yang jelas. Next is timing in spatial planning. Timing means a correct objectives for the correct time. In bahasa, tujuan yang tepat untuk suatu waktu yang tepat juga. Jadi suatu waktu tertentu. Misalnya apa yang menjadi sasaran saat ini, itulah yang kita planning sekarang gitu ya. Apa yang urgent kita planning terlebih dahulu untuk diprioritaskan. Contohnya, mungkin ada yang pernah dengar tahun lalu ya, ada gerakan 100-100 ya, mungkin saat ini sudah mencapai waktunya ya, 2019-2020 harusnya sudah tercapai. Tapi jika belum, tentunya saya yakin akan diteruskan ya program ini. Ya, ini salah satu program nasional di mana ada plan ya untuk mengurangi kawasan kumuh 0%, meningkatkan pelayanan air minum dan sanitasi hingga 100%. Nah, ini kan namanya planning. This goals ya actually. So, we have to put these goals into a correct time. Kita harus bisa menentukan ini mau dicapai kapan dan kenapa. Kalau urgent ya harus secepatnya dilaksanakan atau diprioritaskan. So, this is timing. Perencanaan yang tepat untuk suatu waktu yang tepat juga. Diterapkan pada suatu waktu yang tepat. Jika kita, misalnya ya, prioritas kita saat ini penyediaan air bersih di semua tempat ya. Ya, alasannya karena salah satu kebutuhan pokok itu air bersih, dan sekarang permasalahan iklim atau cuaca yang tidak menentu itu menjadi satu permasalahan, di mana ada yang kekeringan dan sebagainya. Nah, tentunya ini timing yang tepat untuk melakukan suatu perencanaan terkait dengan air minum, bahkan sebelum-sebelumnya juga harus telah direncanakan. Nah, inilah artinya timing. Ya, jadi pada waktu yang tepat sesuai dengan kondisi yang dihadapi di saat ini atau akan dihadapi di suatu masa mendatang. Kita harus sudah bisa merencanakan sesuai dengan timingnya. Ya. In a correct time. Next is suppleness in spatial planning. Suppleness means that the spatial plan can be implemented in every scale, in every region, and sometimes depend on the condition also ya. So, supple ya, or flexible. I don't know. I think supple is correct ya, suppleness. So it can be used in every condition, and it can also depends on the condition. Jadi kalau misalnya kita merencanakan suatu tata ruang di suatu daerah, kita harus bisa melihat tata ruang ini tuh supel gitu ya. Dia bisa diterapkan di berbagai tempat, dia harus bisa diterapkan di berbagai skala, berbagai tempat, tapi dia juga harus bisa menyesuaikan dengan kondisi setempat atau kebutuhan-kebutuhan yang spesifik di suatu lokasi itu. Ya, itulah namanya suppleness. Ya, supel ya. Can be implemented in many places, many scale, and can be adjusted to cope one specific problems ya, dapat dimodifikasi sesuai dengan kebutuhan daerah yang bersangkutan. For example, like this ya, RTRW rencana tata ruang wilayah ya, RPJP rencana pembangunan jangka panjang, RTR rencana tata ruang ya. Nah, Anda bisa lihat bahwa ini semua saling berkaitan, jadi tidak bisa satu perencanaan terlepas dari yang lain. Nasional akan diikuti dengan perencanaan provinsi. Perencanaan provinsi akan diikuti oleh perencanaan kabupaten atau kota. Perencanaan kabupaten atau kota akan diikuti dengan rencana detail tata ruang. Nah, ini yang lebih detail lagi ya. Ini yang lebih rinci, ini yang lebih umum. Dan ini adalah planning-nya atau rencana pembangunannya. Ya, goals-nya ada di sini, dicapai dengan rencana yang umum di sini, dicapai dengan rencana yang lebih rinci, detail ada di sini. So as you can see, this is a suppleness of spatial planning that can be implemented in this all of this scale. Ya, semua skala ini, semua cakupan ini harus bisa diakomodir oleh tata ruang. Ya. Not just in Indonesia, but I think it's in every country ya. Di semua negara perlu melakukan spatial planning seperti ini. Nah, the last one is the precision, artinya tepat sasaran. Ya, I think the title is already explain all of these principles ya. Ya, precision, of course we need to be precise. Perencanaan harus tepat sasaran, tepat guna, dan tepat prioritasnya juga. Artinya apabila kita membuat perencanaan, kita harus juga memiliki pengukuran atau data yang akurat. Sehingga apa yang kita rencanakan, apa yang akan kita pasangkan nanti, apa yang akan kita terapkan nanti, betul-betul memang sesuai dengan kebutuhan dan sesuai dengan objektif tadi ya. Sesuai dengan objektif yang telah dicanangkan. Ya, precision. Selain itu, prinsip ini juga menekankan bahwa perencanaan memerlukan dukungan data yang kuat dan dukungan data yang lengkap. Tanpa data yang lengkap atau akurat, tentunya perencanaan juga tidak bisa berjalan dengan baik. Contohnya, jika kita mau merencanakan suatu kawasan, kita harus lebih dulu memiliki atau memetakan kawasan itu, mempelajari dan memetakan sumber daya yang ada, space atau lahan yang ada, baru kita terapkan perencanaan. Sehingga perencanaan juga harus match dengan kondisi yang existing, harus match dengan yang telah dibuat atau di planning sebelumnya. Harus match juga dengan apa yang akan direncanakan selanjutnya. Ya. So we have to plan precisely, yeah, so that the outcome will be beneficial and can minimize any error or negative impact for the future development-nya. Jadi bisa mengurangi dampak negatif, mengurangi kesalahan, mengurangi kekurangan atau mungkin ketidakmanfaatan ya di masa mendatang dalam pembangunan yang telah direncanakan. Seperti yang diilustrasikan dalam gambar ini saya maksudkan sebagai sebelum Anda membangun, Anda harus punya gambaran yang detail, jelas, dan presisi. Sehingga saat diterapkan nanti, dimasukkan dalam dunia nyata, dalam pembangunan yang nyata nanti, ini juga sudah masuk atau sesuai dengan berbagai peraturan yang ada, berbagai kebutuhan yang ada, lahan yang ada. Dan juga tentunya ini harus sesuai dengan peraturan perundang-undangan yang telah ditetapkan. Ya. Semua ini perlu didukung dengan data dan ukuran yang real, dibantu dengan spasial data yang akurat, yang detail, yang lengkap, agar planning yang kita buat ini memang bisa sesuai dengan apa yang dikehendaki semula atau objektif yang sudah ditetapkan sebelumnya. Okay, thank you very much. I think this is the explanation for the second session. We meet again in the next session with a more interesting topic. If you have any question, you can always message me. Okay, thank you very much, and we meet again in the other session. Thank you and goodbye.